Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I pledge the flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Jim County Commissioners Court for today, March 27th, 2026, 9 a.m. is now in session. How's everybody doing this morning? Good. Agenda item number 3, public testimony. We have two, Ms. Christina Young.
Good morning. My name is Christina Young. Can you all hear me? Yes. Okay. First of all, I had a few comments for Commissioner Aguilar in regards to some of the things that were said in the last meeting when it was stated that he purchased properties. So after hearing you purchase properties from Roman Gonzalez on Johnson Street, I have to ask, what in the world made you think that buying your buddy's property for 4 times the appraised value was a good idea? It's listed for less than 1/10 of an acre at $3,000. You didn't just purchase a property. Not only did you pay double, not triple, but quadruple its value, $12,000 for 1/10 of an acre. That raises a serious question. How many other times have a taxpayer dollars been used to overpay individuals who supported your campaign? Did you notice that this property was purchased shortly after you won your primary election? Is that just a coincidence? When making purchasing decisions, proper research should be conducted in a timely and responsible manner. Your duty is to the taxpayers of this county, not to your friends or political allies. This raises concerns because paying $12,000 for less than 1/10 of an acre is excessive. Thankfully, it wasn't a full acre, or we might be looking at $120,000. An empty lot that's 0.091 of an acre shouldn't even be $1,000, let alone $12,000. Mr. Gonzalez stated that you had to pay so much because he paid $2,000 in back taxes, but after some in-depth research, I have found that claim to be not true because on September the 6th, 2024, a payment for $234.14 was made for years 2022 and 2023 by a Renee V. That same year that Mr. Gonzalez stated started the legal documents to attain ownership in June of 2024. So what's your reason for paying such an absurd amount to your buddy? The taxpayers deserve to know your explanation as to how you allowed this to happen. I can only imagine how much you paid to the other seller. Did you knowingly purchase this land for this price intentionally? Let's see. Either way, it is wrong on so many levels, paying a friend that amount for 1/10 of an acre. At this rate, you should have paid the other seller $11,340.66. But did you pay the other seller that amount? When proper financial research isn't done, it reflects poor leadership and raises serious concerns about your ability to manage your precinct ethically and effectively. Makes one consider looking into all the checks made from your office and the other commissioners' precincts as well to see how many other times issues like this have occurred. I'm tired of the favor for favor system, the favor for favor happening in the compadre system that exists here in Jim County. I will be bringing the documentation on the other track from the other seller to Commissioner's Court next meeting, so we can compare and contrast what you paid to both sellers. Let's see. On another note, let's see here. Right now, on another note, you intentionally spent an excessive amount to improve and expand your precincts, apparently to avoid having to store county equipment at private property on your other friends on 1554. I hope you show that same urgency and commitment when it comes to protecting taxpayers and implementing some kind of solution to the jail situation. Right now, taxpayers are bearing nearly $1 million a year in costs, not including the juvenile inmate expenses, which is $6,000 a head, which adds even more to the ongoing outrageous expenses. At this rate we're going, this is not acceptable nor sustainable for the county. Remember when you all got $8.3 million in ARPA funds? Not one of us in the county thought about going and fixing the jail problem. Instead, we remodeled buildings, bought properties, bought pig statues, bought $200,000 worth of plants, bought benches, and paid hundreds of dollars for murals that looked like a 7-year-old did it. Because no one ever thought that we would have a sheriff who would arrest any and all criminals and might actually do his job, one who couldn't be bribed or blackmailed. Anyway, we can break down the ARPA funds at the next meeting too if you'd like. As the economy declines and costs rise, crime will increase. Shipping inmates to facilities across Texas does little to address the root of the problem. They return after months or years without meaningful rehabilitation, and the cycle continues because correctional facilities don't correct behaviors. If we invested in housing inmates locally, there could be a real collaboration between the head of the probation department and the jail to implement programs that could create long-term change for those who genuinely want it. That would benefit both the individuals and the taxpayers. It's time to put an end to the political games. I understand there are personal loyalties at play, but this is the sheriff that we have right now. Do y'all's job, please, and bring forward real solutions. And let's be clear, funding is not the issue. There are roughly about 244 properties that, if taxed properly, and they would pay their fair share, we could generate the revenue needed. If necessary, I'll be at the next commissioners meeting with information on the properties, including those tied to the county leadership that are not paying what they should be paying. The people of this county deserve transparency and strong leadership. At the end of the day, we all have to answer to God. He sees everything. What's done in the dark will always come to the light. Please do right by the people. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. We have Enrique Garcia the fourth.
Morning, County Judge P. Trevino, commissioners, members of the audience, and those watching from home. My name is Enrique Garcia IV, proud son of Margot and Enrique Garcia. I'm currently a senior at Alice High School, who's known for his contributions and involvement in multiple organizations, most notably being band, mariachi, the debate club, and Alice Rotary Interact. First, I'd like to thank you for your service to our community. Your leadership plays a vital role in shaping the future of Jim Mills County. And the reason why I'm here today is to ask for your support in helping spread an important message across the Alice community. That attendance matters, and being present every single day is essential to student success. As public servants, your voices carry a significant amount of influence. We ask that you help advocate for our campaign titled Attendance Matters, I Matter, to ensure that every student is present each and every day in school. I also want to take a moment to emphasize how important education is to the future of Jim Mills County. As a strong, well-educated community, this can attract businesses, create opportunities for many, and encourage students like myself to return home one day and give back. After graduation, I plan to attend the University of Texas at Austin to study pre-law English. And my goal is to one day return to Alice and give back to the community that has supported me throughout my journey. We all need our pre-K through high school students to receive rigorous instruction in school to build capacity in our knowledge, social skills, communication skills, and problem-solving skills. We are making progress. Alice ISD is currently rated a B district, and we're working hard toward receiving an A. However, we cannot do this alone, and we need our entire community working together to ensure that every student is in school getting the proper education that they need. I'm also proud to share that Alice High School students are advancing to state competitions consistently. Just to name a few, Destination Imagination, Skills USA, Science Fair, Mariachi Coyote, and powerlifting. Our students are achieving great things, and with continued support, we can do even more. You may not see me every day, you may not see any elementary schools every day, you may not see high schoolers every day, but every decision made in this Commissioner's Court impacts my life and the lives of all citizens in Jim Mills County. It truly takes a village, specifically one that wears burnt orange proudly. And thank you for your time, your service, and your continued commitment to our success. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And I don't think there's anybody else.
I got one, Judge. Yes, Judge, as you know, this past week, we had the representative PAC come over from Corpus Christi, Cheryl Martinez, and we were to announce that we were awarded a $600,000 grant for spade and neuter program through PetSmart. So it's for the areas of Bembo, Palito Blanco, and the Rancho Leyte area here in Jim Mills County. And as soon as we get the funding, we're going to start announcing when the days for being able to make an appointment to bring your animals in is going to be announced. We're going to be asking for some help. We're going to need some towels and stuff like that, so we'll be posting it out there if anybody can help us out. It's greatly appreciated. So it's an awesome deal for us here. It may not announce that it's the whole county, but there's going to be funding available for the whole county, but it's technically just for that area right now. So eventually it'll be the whole area. So I just want to congratulate everybody. We chased it for about 2 years and we finally received it. We were 1 out of 8 in the country, the only one in Texas. So we were awarded this and it's going to work out real good for us. Big change. So
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you. Anybody else? And we do feel strongly that attendance matters. In that case, I'm going to move agenda item 9.3 up. 9.3 is discuss, consider and take action on a resolution recognizing and honoring Jeremiah Blessed Hands Casa for his boxing accomplishments and professional debut. Want to come up over here? We know it's important. I know they pulled you out of class and we got to get you back as quick as we can. So, let's see. Resolution 2026-0327, a resolution of the Commissioners Court of Jim Wells County, Texas, recognizing and honoring Jeremiah Blessed Hands Casas for his boxing accomplishments and professional debut. Whereas Jeremiah Blessed Hands Casas, a proud native of Alice, Texas, has demonstrated exceptional dedication, discipline, and perseverance in a sport of boxing from a young age. And whereas Jeremiah began training in boxing at the age of 10, by the age of 14 was already competing, exhibiting the skill, determination, and heart of a seasoned athlete. And whereas while pursuing his boxing career, Jeremiah has remained committed to his education at Alice High School, where he participated in cross country and track, demonstrating outstanding endurance, work ethic, and the ability to balance academics and athletics. Whereas over the course of his amateur career, boxing career, Jeremiah Casas has competed in more than 60 bouts, earning a respect throughout the boxing community and receiving significant honors, including being crowned the national champion, a 2-time Golden Gloves champion, and a 2-time Sugar Burt champion. And whereas Jeremiah Casas has proudly trained and represented the city of Alice and Jim Wells County with honor, serving as an inspiration to all athletes and exemplifying discipline, perseverance, and commitment. And whereas his accomplishments reflect not only athletic excellence, but also value of hard work, resilience, and community pride that bring distinction to Jim Wells County. Jeremiah Casas will make history for the first student of Alice High School to turn professional in boxing. And his professional debut is scheduled for April 4th, marking a significant milestone for himself, his school, and the community. Now, therefore, let it be resolved that the Commissioners Court of Jim Wells County, Texas hereby recognizes and commends Jeremiah Blessed Hands Casas for his outstanding boxing accomplishments and congratulates him for his professional debut.
Make a motion to approve.
second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. You and the family want to come up? We'll take a picture. Want to introduce yourself to the court here?
My name is Jeremiah Costa. I'm watching since I was 10. Been in this sport for a very long time, and I'm gonna show y'all what I've been working on in April 4th. Y'all stay tuned.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yes. And I didn't mention earlier, but for the court record, Ms. Renee Kerhoff is not here today. Thank you, guys.
She would have taken somebody else.
I'm gonna move up one more item. Mr. Jeff, I know he's got to get back to his wife, but I'm gonna move back to agenda item number 12.3. Discuss, consider, and take action on entering negotiations with Southwest Architects, Inc. to perform a facility needs analysis to either expand our current jail or build a new facility.
I'm Joseph Guy Baker, Sheriff of Jim Wells County. I just want to say that I think that Jim Wells County needs a needs assessment done, so I hope that the Commissioners Court listen to Mr. Heflinger and his proposal, and at least consider to begin negotiations on this project. Before we can make informed decisions, we need to know exactly what we're dealing with, real numbers, and this will provide that to the court. At this time, I'll just turn it over to Mr. Heflinger.
Good morning. My name is Jeff Heffelfinger. I'm with Southwest Architects. We've been working on jails throughout the state of Texas for the last 40 years. We've represented over 30 counties, added on to jails in those 40 years. At the bottom line is the process of a jail, unlike a school, is a tough nut for every county at the end of the day. It's money you're spending on people that need to be incarcerated at the end of the day. But what we've created through our process over the years is a program that we assist counties. Back in the old days, under the Engineers Practice Act, we cannot do the things today that we could do 25 years ago. So now we have to come and we have to present different ways to get to the same solution. At the end of the day, my firm is set up to do what we call a two-part proposal. And in that in that contract, the court would commit to a initial investigation, analyzation, and get them to numbers that they understand and can realize they're going to be good throughout the project. We set it up by putting together a team on the county, not just the sheriff and the jail administrator, but part of the court, the clerk, the auditor. We get everybody involved in this process from the very start. And if you'll look at, I've given you a brochure. It's got lots of names, and that's just part of the game, I guess, we have to play in today. But it'll give you a lot of information on jails I've done throughout the state. And quite frankly, can't list them all. It'd become a book. But at the end of the day, the blue sheet I've given you, this is the process, okay? And it's set up on two parts. And that is because I've always believed, as the architect for the community I'm working in, I'm part of the program. I'm part of it, okay? I'm not gonna come in and go away. I'm gonna come in and stay here. I'm gonna be a part of it. So if I can create a contract that keeps me as much accountable as the client, then it's a win-win. And at the end of the day, that's what we've done. So we set this proposal up on two phases. And in phase one is a pre-design. Now, pre-design doesn't mean we're just gonna go out there and make sure you got a new, nice, pretty building. No, we're gonna analyze your existing facility. We're gonna go through it. I've spent a little bit of time in it. I know the nuances of it. I haven't got to go through it today with the modifications that Mr. Ramirez has been working on. But at the end of the day, we're going to go through and analyze your existing facility. Because anytime you look at adding on to a facility, you have to bring it up to the current standards, which can be difficult at some points because of the age of the previous jail that you added on to. But at the end of the day, we're going to analyze that facility. We're going to come up with the numbers of beds that it needs to be to go forward. We're going to master plan this. You know, nowadays, it's very important to look to the future. Now, with costs as much as they are and the timing that it takes, we don't want to help you create a facility that you run out of space before it's paid for. That's my goal at the end of the day. I did a facility in '95 that they demanded a 20-year master plan. We're 30 years later, and they're at 80% occupancy. That's the way we view it. Just finished a jail in West Texas where it's remote, difficult to build, expensive to build. They wanted to look 20 years into the future. We came up with some very innovative solutions to that. We actually helped housing some of the deputies in the overall master plan that will be converted to cells 15 years from now. We look for innovative solutions, okay, all the time. So we go through this process of analyzing your existing facility, seeing what it's going to take to add on to it, to make it a viable current facility that'll last you the next 20 years, okay? But at the same time, we're going to program, we're going to design a new facility for you, because I think it's very important in today's costs that the court has the opportunity to see what it will cost to fix something and what it'll cost to build something. You're going to be really surprised, okay? And the reason is it will sometimes require, you got to move the inmates out to work on it. You got to take those things into cost. So we get this team together, and that's the reason, like the auditors involved with the finances that you're currently using and all the team, because we're going to put all the numbers together. We're even going to analyze your out-of-county housing expenses. You know, they've exceeded $1 million. Quite frankly, that's just the dollars that you have to approve in court. That doesn't talk about fuel, doesn't talk about vehicle expense, doesn't talk about overtime for officers, doesn't talk about medical. Some of these are burgeoning costs that have just gone up everywhere, okay? So when we put this analysis together and we look at a new facility, we also take them to the jail commission under phase 1, because everything that you do has to be approved by them. And it's critical for me that when we go to the jail commission, who I've been dealing with for all these years, that everything that we propose, they're okay with. That way, as another part of our team, we bring on a construction manager at risk at the start. We don't wait till we've got all these pretty pictures. We want them to be a part of that design. They can communicate to us costs through the whole preliminary process. Critical, critical. You know, everybody says, how do you control costs? You control costs by, one, planning, starting out with good estimates, maintaining those estimates throughout your design development, construction documents, and when it gets to construction, guess what? It's easy. Everything's right. That's what we do. That's why we've been blessed through our careers with maintaining budgets and schedules. So bringing all these people in, then we also bring in the financial advisor on this first phase, because it's critical once we start developing these costs that the auditor, a financial advisor, can abreast the court on what's the best solution financially. You know, I'm not an accountant, I'm not a financial advisor, but I can put the numbers together and they can crunch them. And that's what it comes down to. I think it's a very important phase in the start of the project, because that will create how we go forward in the future. So through this first process, first development, we limit your expense. As I told you, I want to be part of the program, okay, and part of the solution. And so we would propose that two-part contract. Hey, I'm just like every other architect in the state. We all charge about the same. We can't talk money. But at the end of the day, yes, if you decide as a court to go into phase 2 and proceed with constructing A or B or C or D or whatever it is, that's when my fee would be just like all the rest of them. And you would have already approved it in the two-part contract. But also about the two-part contract, it doesn't kick into phase 2 without a confirming vote from the court at a later date. So, and I will tell you about construction managers. Worked with them all over the state, got a couple of good ones down here along the coast. They typically don't charge anything for that preliminary estimating either. You know, because for them, the project becomes a project when they start building. But they know, working with our firm, that in the past, it's been a lot smoother process because of that relationship that's created at the very start and the budgets that are from the very start. They don't have a big surprise for the court at guaranteed max time. And so, and I would also send to the court, if you so choose that I'm qualified, a very detailed document that lists all the different things in each one of these phases. I could go on forever and talk. I don't want to waste time. I think I just want to make sure you understand this process is an evolving process, that we do it by teamwork. Everybody's going to have a buy-in on it. I always like to have at least 2 members of the court. Sometimes they'll appoint 3, but only 2 show up. I will tell you, in the past, I would turn down work if I wasn't required to be there every week. I'm on the project when it's under construction every single week. I've only been late on one project, Crane County. It was in the middle of the pandemic and we couldn't get material. We started buying material at dirt work and we still were late getting material, but I never missed a week. So at the end of the day, that's important and it's critical because as the architect, a jail, everything's covered in a jail. Obviously, you don't want the inmates. So if I'm not there every week to see how the progress is going, how the detailing is done, that I might miss something. So that's not the way we work. Do you have any questions about the process? You probably got a million of questions about ideas, but do you understand the process? Because that to me is critical because we're going to all work together. You know, I typically will make pretty regular updates to the court. Some courts, I do weekly updates by email. We work with the clerk and the auditor and the community to understand it's not a rolling quorum. There's no decisions. It's just an update to keep you informed. I know there's some processes we've worked with county attorneys to make sure, you know, if you have a question, you didn't reply to all, you reply to me. And that's the way we do it. Transparency is important. I hear that word a lot nowadays. But at the end of the day, that's the reason we do it just like this, is I think it's important. And through this first phase, I will really be involved with the court because obviously there'll be, imagine the judge will put that committee together. There'll be a lot of discussions, not decisions except through the court, a lot of discussions on where we're going. It's just like when we talk about new facility, obviously we need to analyze sites, okay? You know, I'm not going to call a realtor. I'm going to expect this court to know properties that potentially are available. We'll look at them. Just like the existing building and its site, there's some ramifications around it that have to be looked into, things like that. So understand, I respect that transparency a lot because that's how you make it 41 years in small business. But at the end of the day, I want to make sure that both the court and the community are informed. Did I answer any questions?
Anybody have any questions?
I have a question for you, sir.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you coming down here and explaining all this to us, but in this kind of process, do we have to go for bids through an architect?
No, sir. Under the Texas Government Code, architects are considered professional services, like 245 or something under the government code, not required. I get hired as much like this as through an RFQ at the end of the day. It just depends on your community and your court, but it's not required. I think surveyors and accountants, if I'm not mistaken, are the other two, or auditors. I don't think they're required RFQs.
I have another question. Just roughly speaking, we're about a little under 40,000 in the county. What?
Can you mind if I?
Sure. We're about, what, 40,000, a little under 40,000 in the county. What size, more or less, jail would we require if you had to build a new one?
Well, there's a process for that, and it's a good question. Right now, because of the way the state of Texas government's set up, we are required to request from the Texas Commission on Jail Standards a facility needs analysis. Now, theirs is different than yours and mine, okay? But what they do is they work with the sheriff, the jail administrator, and his staff, and they study his ADP for the last multiple years. Now, I do know the sheriff has done one, and he's fixing to ask for an update on it, and it's currently 148. But in talking to jail staff, currently they're averaging 128. Okay, so one of the things that we have to look at is a little bit farther down the line. And I've been known to take jail commission recommendations, working with the community, the SO and the court, and looking a little more forward, because these are so expensive. I can remember $200 square foot jails. Okay. You don't build a jail for $200. Now they're $600, $700. My point is we have to look at that long-term effect. I think I just told you about Crane, where we made some apartments. Well, that's because they wanted to be ahead of the game. So we look at forward-thinking ideas to solve the solution. Obviously, everybody talks about housing other people's people, but to me, you never can look at that as a revenue stream, okay? It's not a smart solution. But if he's got extra beds and he wants to lease them out to John Doe County, that's a bonus for the county, okay? Crane County last year brought in $417,000 to the general fund, okay? It's always about where you're at and who needs help, okay? But at the end of the day, we're gonna look at the solutions. I just, top of my head, was thinking like 164, but expandable. The next thing we do is everything needs to have a master plan to be expandable. And I can promise you, we look far into the future. That's what's very important. Because if you put in the infrastructure in the original facility, or what we do out here, then what we've created is an opportunity that all you have to add is beds. And if all you have to add is beds, that's kind of like the 3-bedroom house that had to become a 4-bedroom because all of a sudden they had another child. Does that make sense? So we're going to make sure laundry, kitchen, cooking, all those are in our full master plan. And then the beds, we might look at shelling that area. We might look at just having all the utilities to it. Whatever we need to do to maintain our budget. Good question, thank you. I hope I answered it.
Yes, sir.
When you start your analysis, how long does it take for you to complete it and then get back with Commissioner's Court?
Oh, yeah. I mean, right now, we're talking probably a month and a half, 2 months total, okay? A lot of that's going to depend on how quick we can get a team put together, how quick we can get the info back from the state, and then we have a unique situation with your facility. It could take 3 months based on having to determine how we're going to deal with all the insides of the older part of the jail. And we also have the requirements, because we will have to do an RFP for a construction manager at risk, okay? And because of the advertising deadlines, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, that'll take a 30-day process. Then we'll probably take a week to 2 weeks to vet them, and then probably the court will put it on the agenda to interview 2, 3 of them. Okay, that's at the end of the day. So that might stretch that first phase out, but once that first phase is all done, quite frankly, then the ball can roll pretty quick. But you're gonna look at 2 years, start to finish. From today to move in, it could be 2 years. And God knows I'd love it to be less, but at the end of the day, I'm a realist. And so if, construction documents, time, et cetera, but your construction could last 14 to 16 months based on the numbers of days.
So phase one's facility and analysis. Okay, so what kind of monies are we talking about?
A good question that I can't answer. Under the Engineering Practices Act and the Texas Government Code, you have, as a board, have to state that I'm a qualified licensed professional and that you would like to enjoin in negotiations for a contract, at which time I would present a court a contract with the numbers on it. Now, the court has the option to negotiate or deny. And if you so choose to deny, you have absolutely zero things to deal with. I'll be gone at the end of the day. I have never gone to negotiations and not got out of them. I believe that I'm very fair because at the end of the day.
This is after pre-design, right?
That's correct. That phase comes later. But at this first phase, or the two-part contract negotiation will be for the whole contract, but you won't enter into two parts, it's the second part till later. But I can't give you numbers till then because of the state laws. But I wouldn't have been in business 40 years if that was a problem. I don't think, maybe.
What's the closest area here that you've done work?
Okay, well, from here, did work in Alpine, Brewster County, did work in Kern County, San Jacinto County.
So I guess to me, it sounds logical. The best thing for you to do is to have it to where it's expandable, right?
Oh, yes.
Definitely the way to go because later on in the future. I know Jim Hogg is getting theirs upgraded. They're adding more beds to it. And they had just built it not too long ago, so they're expanding it. And so when you said that, as well, it only makes sense that it's the way to go.
Yeah, understand, in Texas, of course, there's hundreds and hundreds and thousands of architects, but really in the jail business itself, there's 3 of us now that have done 90% of the jails. Now, we typically, us 3 firms, have not done like Travis County or Harris County, or there's a few large firms that do the bigger, 6 big counties in the state. But other than that, our firm and 2 other firms have pretty well done 90% of all the modern day jails in Texas.
I know because of the jail standards, there's so a lot of regulations that we have to follow stuff like this. And it's not just building a building and that's it, right? But I'm guessing that you might have already been to our jail here.
Yes, sir.
And I don't know, we have to take it to is it, just looking at it, I know it's up in age. Is it something that we could consider adding to or something like that? Or is it possible?
No, Commissioner, that's a great question. That's what we were talking about. We're going to analyze that. I think it's very important for this court to understand what it's going to cost to bring that facility up to standards and up to the size and with the ability to add on to in the future versus the cost of a new one. Hey, I'll be honest with you. In Lynn County, Texas, you probably don't know where that's at. It's just south of Lubbock, right? The county farming community, no industry farming community. And they needed a jail in the worst way. I took the John Deere tractor dealership and created a 48-bed jail in it that was paid for in 2 years with Lubbock inmates. And now they've been able to house their own inmates for 15 years at no cost. We look for innovative solutions, If you had a big, huge old Walmart, that would be a great building.
We do.
I'm just saying, I'm not, all I'm saying is those are things that if there's
But I've always said that because there's so many
empty.
empty buildings here in the county that are government buildings. And I always thought like, why is it that we can't go in there and
You know,
turn them
I
into
say
a-
a Walmart, and let me tell you why. They've got sprinkler systems and all that. There's a lots of things that we have to look at. But I'm saying analyzing an existing building is not a bad thing, because you gotta understand, inside of a jail, it's not like Country Club. They ain't gonna have a lot of windows. Matter of fact, none. At the end of the day, we have standards, like you said, with jail commission. And they look at our schematics, they look at our design development, they look at our construction documents, and you don't move into it till they authorize it at the end of the day. And Jack Crump, the original Texas Commission on Jail Standards director, worked for me for 12 years before he totally retired. And what we've learned through that process, I've never taken over 2 hours to get a jail commission. And I don't care how big they are. Bottom line is, I know what they want, I know how to make it done, and I know how to work with a contractor to get it done.
And of course, we all know that a lot of times, like when going into construction in just in a regular house, the fact that you start tearing down, you're gonna get into more problems instead of building new, you know. It's,
That's why I opened this up with, you have nuances of that existing facility, especially because you have two different ones. And the first one is so old, the salvageability of some of it at an addition where you have to bring it up to current standards, it's gonna be difficult and challenging. It's not something that we haven't looked at before, but this court needs to see that, because you have a community here that expects you to make the best fiduciary decision you can with their tax dollars. And if you've looked at all that, you can justify 2 over 1 because of the time frame, the cost, or whatever. But at the end of the day, we want you to be able to face your community and tell them, this is why we did it. That's the best answer. It's not let them go behind and say, well, why did they do it? We tell you why we did it.
I met with you twice already with the sheriff, and I appreciate that. And I think they've asked a lot of the questions that I asked in our meetings. One question that I didn't ask, and just for the sake of knowing, the possibility of building up 2-story?
Good question, but expensive question. What you create going up is vertical movement. Vertical movement in a jail, if you're in downtown Fort Worth or downtown Dallas or downtown, it's much cheaper to build out than it is to go up because of that vertical movement. Because staffing wise also, because remember your 1 to 48 rule is 1 to 48 per floor. So now you kick it in another notch. So all you're doing is creating more staffing problems, more inmate movement problems. You know, one of the biggest things that I've learned in all my career is these poor jailers, they don't have any rights in a jail. The inmates have all the rights. So what I've learned is the least amount of movement of an inmate is the maximum amount of efficiency of my staffer. And we have some innovative solutions inside our jails to eliminate movement of staff, eliminate movement of inmates where we can be efficient. So, you know, I always deal with counties saying, well, how are we gonna staff it and all that. I understand that is a huge problem in Texas, everywhere. But what we do, if we can maximize the sheriff's staff in their efficiency, then when they come to the court and say we need another person, they can justify it. You know, if it's via the 1 to 48 rule or transport issues or whatever he deals with, he'll be able to explain that to the court. Excuse me.
if there would be a negative side of it, of any county building and brand-new jail overall, what would it be? That you would.
I apologize.
No.
That's
If there would be any negative side to anybody building a new jail, especially a small county, what do you think it might be? I mean, have you seen any problems
That's a
with,
question I've never been asked.
well, have you ever seen it to where a small county will
negative.
build it and they can't sustain it?
No, no. I heard a lady earlier speaking about how we arrested the people and talked a lot to Joe Captain about your ADPs and stuff like that. You're in a unique area, but not unique to Texas. Every county I work with, doesn't matter where it's at, we're dealing with drugs, interdictions. You got the border to deal with. All these things come into mind. And I don't think criminals are getting they're not getting any nicer, okay? And what you see in that rearrest is they typically are going up the scale as opposed to staying flat. So I've never seen one not be able to staff it afterwards. They struggle. And they get creative in that. We were talking yesterday a little bit about, I work with some that they'll use part-time help. Well, 2 part-times equals a full-time, but it gets him his numbers for his TCO licensing with the state and things like that. So there's some creative things that they do that they can make that work. But, I just have never seen a community that built a facility regretted afterwards. Typically, law enforcement gets a unique opportunity once a new facility is open because they got extra beds, right? So for years, they've not dealt with, let's say, a Class C, a high-level Class C. And now they have an opportunity to arrest them, bring them in, do a night in the facility, and maybe that will keep them from doing that again. Hot check. I can come up with different, but that gives them that opportunity. Also, we find that in a lot of communities, their drug task force, they wait longer when they have no facility, but when they have the facility and more bed space, they have the opportunity to make that a quicker rate or whatever. We had a lot of discussions about the interagencies and stuff like that with the sheriff, and we always like to have the ability for DEA, FBI, all those departments, just to come in and have a place to plug their computer in. That had to be a fancy office, a desk with a computer jack, right? Or a Wi-Fi for them. So we work on that, and that creates those partnerships that allows them to expand that jail's use forward and lessen potentially crime. We have maintenance programs and everything, guys. At the end of the day, when we leave a jail, we don't leave it. I give him he's going to get a lot of work out of it because he's going to have a weekly, a monthly, a quarterly, and an annual checklist that one of his jail staffers or maintenance staffers is going to have to go check things. And that way we can report to the court, and that way the court cannot budget maintenance in the future off of records. It's real simple work, but it sure saves money if you don't wait till it's broke. So anyway.
Any other questions? I know you said 60 months to 2 years, but on our situation, if we build right there and expand, there's some dirt moving we'd have to do and probably knock down some buildings too, so that might increase that time, correct?
And that's why I said it's a unique situation across the street. And, we'll have to deal with health department, with asbestos surveys and stuff like that too. But that's all part of it.
I have a question for the sheriff. Sheriff, so there's 2 sections on the jail, right? The older part and the new part? Or
That's
the newer
correct.
part?
Yeah, basically it's split in 2, yes.
So,
pretty much.
so what the difference in cells? like
In the
older
cell,
side?
so in the old section, all we can house is our, we call them trustees, although we don't trust any of them, but they call them trustees. In that old section is, it's kind of like in the 1800s, you have the bars. There's no separation, physical separation. There's no mechanical locking, which is required by the Texas Commission on Jail Standards. There is all mechanical. It's not, we don't have a control room to put an electronic system in there. So we house very little in there compared to the space that is there, simply because even the intercoms, you know, we have trouble, if we don't have an intercom working, we can't house there. We do have one holding facility there for, we can hold them for 48 hours and that's it. We have to move them. So it's a lot of wasted space. And so,
I guess I was trying to get to the part to where if we're trying to get to a 164, what would be the newer part if we have to eliminate the old section? You know,
well, that's where, so today, if the vote is just to go into negotiation, doesn't cost a dime. But this is where, Mr. Heflinger would come in and based on his, profession as an architect, can draw out that, you know, so I don't want to be able, because I'm not a professional, I don't want to be able to, you know, to answer that question. That's something that he would analyze and say, this is what we can do with that space, and this is how best to use that space. That's why I wanted to bring a professional in. Not only is he going to give us the best answer for that, it simply is just required by Texas Commission on Jail Standards. If you're gonna modify a jail, you have to bring in an architect. I mean, we just have to. But I would want to do that anyway, because Mr. Hefling has been doing this for 41 years in the state of Texas. He knows the Texas Commission Jail Standards rules and regulations. He's an architect. He's, like I said, I've seen some of the designs that he's done and the innovative things that other counties have done for cost saving to help with our limited staff, to be able to do the most with our limited staff. And so that's more of a question, I think, that in if we go into negotiation with him today, that he can come and bring to us in this phase one for you guys to look at. But definitely, the old jail, we're not using the space as we should. We're air conditioning it, we're paying for it, but we're limited on who we can put there because of the antiquation. It's so antiquated. So I don't know if does that answer your question?
I'm not trying to put you in the spot or anything. I'm just trying to, I guess, what the number of cells that we have at the newer part is. I guess I want to get an idea as to how many you would have on that side.
So you're talking about how many do we have on the new? How many cells do we have on the new side? How many people can we hold?
On the newer part,
So we have 17. You know, that hallway that you went through. There's I believe 16 or 17 individual cells. Then we have I believe 2 dorms that we can hold 12 each. We have I believe 2 other dorms we can hold 6, and I think that there's a segregation unit where we can hold 4. Basically 67, but
About
I'm
67
going by the
cells.
dorm. Okay, if you just wanted a number, now that 67, obviously, depending on the staffing ratio, we're still stuck at 48 right now because of you have the old jail and you have the new jail, so you have the fire alarm situation, which we're trying to get adjusted. We have to have a person, those have to be hard locations where we have to place a officer there 24/7 because we have that split system. We're trying to combine that to one. And that's the problem, some of the problems we're trying to fix here.
So how many inmates do you have right now?
What's, do you know,
100?
you talking about total or in the
Oh,
jail?
here at the jail.
We're looking at 40 something? What's today?
You can't have 100 because, you know, we only have about 80.
Oh, here today, no.
So-
100 total.
Yeah, what I can tell you is we have reduced the total population to 100, but we don't have 100 here. We have about 40 something here right now, today.
So
56 today? We have 56 today.
56.
So a lot
What's
of
the
it,
capacity, about 90, 80, 90?
88 is what we're rated at. That's if
Okay.
everything is, every cell is working.
So we can't house 88 right now?
No.
Okay, is there any, because what we're talking about here is in the future. Is there any way we can bring it up to standard anytime soon?
Not with the old section, we there's nothing that we can do soon. What we're doing now, we are bringing in a commercial contractor
Okay.
to deal with the plumbing issues that we're having there.
What we're trying to do here is long-term. But short-term, can we increase our numbers short-term,
Because of the staffing and because of the issue with the two sides of the jail, 56 is a lot for us to house right here, right now.
So that's the
That's gonna
most.
be, that's gonna be,
56 would be the most. You're answering my question.
Yeah, that's gonna be
I'm
about
not trying to
it.
be critical here. I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
trying to make sense of, how many we can actually house. It's 56, that's what you're saying.
Commissioner, if I might just help the sheriff out on this side, because it's cost. The cost benefit to update that area on a short-term basis would be,
Well,
in my opinion,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be smart. Now, if in our overall analysis, adding on to the jail and doing those repairs and doing those upgrades financially became possible. But if you did that, and I'm just gonna throw a number, if you spent $300,000 in there, $400,000 in there for the short term, I don't think you get the return on your investment.
Well, that was on my question. My question is, I need to know how many you can house.
Yeah, but I'm just saying to maximize.
I'm not trying to fix it. I'm just saying that, in your case, you're talking long-term.
Yeah.
You're talking, and in short-term, we can house 56 inmates.
if
okay?
all of our
That's
cells,
that's
yeah.
my question,
If all of our
That's
cells are
my
working.
question, because I need to know, I know, like you're saying, it's expensive to bring it up above 56. That's really pretty much what I'm,
So right now, we've done a lot of repairs. We've got most of the cells working, but we do still have plumbing issues. So if all of our cells are operational, we don't have any problems with plumbing, which we do a lot.
yeah.
If you see that number drop, that is the reason why, is because we're not allowed to house in, like say you take a 12-man dorm, if the shower goes out, we can't house those 12 people there. So
This is a different issue. I'm just clearing my mind to
Yeah,
what.
we gotta get back on the.
Yeah,
on the-
that's a different issue. I just tried to clear my mind to
I didn't
how
want
many
you to
we
say
can
that we can
house.
house, that I didn't want you to say, I said we can house 56 all the time.
Okay, yeah,
But-
okay.
but that's the
okay,
max. Yes, sir.
I was just trying to,
Yes,
for my understanding,
I understand. Thank you.
Okay, does anybody have any more questions or anything? I know I've met a couple of times with you and the sheriff, and we're here in court today, but does anybody have any recommendations or anything?
So if we were to approve this going forward with it, how long would it be before we could put a committee together?
Probably within 3 weeks, we would already have a committee set up and start the whole process. I could get a draft contract to the judge and the county attorney sometime next week, just to start it, along with a in-depth list of services that I'm gonna provide in that contract. And then then we'd start that process. The court would have to pick 2 commissioners or whatever, however the court chooses to go.
I'm always the one that's opposite from everybody else. I know everybody gets people from here in the committee. I like to get the people from the outside because they're the taxpayers, and I like to get them involved so they can know.
Well,
Is
okay,
that- is that
and I'm
something
good with
you-
that, but understand this first analysis. You really need to keep that in-house because every person is bringing something to the table. Now, what we do in this process is, as we've developed it, we'll hold town hall meetings. We'll share with the community without faces in the jail. We will show them pictures of the existing facility, where we're seeing problems, how we're gonna resolve them, how we've created this analysis, the sites that we look at, and the solutions and the numbers. We'll share that with your whole community. Got no problems. I've given those at a lot of community centers through time. And it's a really good process because keeping them involved, like I said, from the very start. Bringing them in at the start, that's the court's decision, but other than questions, they don't really have, we're looking for solutions in the committee right now. We've got to come up with a solution. then we could share it with somebody for their introspection of it. That makes sense.
Mr. Guerra, I know you're out on the web there. Do you have any questions?
No, as I just heard him say, if y'all approve this, then he'll have something for our review in 10 days, what, about a week or two? Is that what I heard?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll advise the court, I'll advise the court that we can approve this and he'll get us what he needs to get us as far as contracts, and that'll give us a time also to vet him a little bit more. And if we don't have any issues, then we can move forward or whatever. But the main thing is, we'll get a chance to vet, you'll get a chance to get the contract, and we can bring it back and have the court at ease with any other questions they may have.
That's correct.
Anybody have any
Move forward with it.
objections to that? Can I entertain a motion?
Make a motion to accept item number 12.3, discuss and consider take action on the inter-negotiations with Southwest Architects, Inc. to perform a facility needs analysis to either expand our current jail or build a new facility.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion, I have a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Get back to your wife.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
County Attorney? Yes, sir, please. I know we gotta move back, but I know I have some firemen here that probably need to get somewhere. So, I'm gonna go ahead and move to agenda item 9.4. Discuss, consider, and take action to approve a $200,000 expenditure for the Orange Grove Volunteer Fire Department for the purchase of acquiring a large brush truck to support local firefighting operations and mutual aid responses. The proposed $200,000 will be reimbursed in full to Jim Wells County immediately upon receipt from reimbursement funds from the Texas A&M Forest Service Grant Award to the Orange Grove Volunteer Fire Department.
Judge, Commissioners, thanks for putting this on the agenda today. I'm Chief McFadder with the Orangeville Fire Department. This is just basically so we can get money to get the truck started. It'll be full reimbursement once the truck's completed and delivered.
So this is a grant for how much?
The grant's for $265,000. The truck's
Okay,
$300.
but so who's gonna cover the other 60?
I'm gonna talk with the city of Orange Grove.
Okay,
see if
I
they
was
can
just
cover- 'cause
curious.
That'll be reimbursed too, and then we'll have to come up with about $100,000 ourselves.
Okay.
Sir, when will this be paid back or reimbursed?
Takes about a year process. And David has some more information on the process for the forestry service too, if you want to go through that, or if y'all need to.
So, go ahead, Mr. David.
Just to fill y'all in on kind of the process this grant
Just
works.
state your name for the court, please.
David Giebert, Orange Grove Fire Department. The Forest Service awards these grants. It's through House Bill 2604, if y'all are not familiar with that. But it allows funding to volunteer departments for equipment, apparatus purchases, training operations, and stuff like that. But it's a reimbursement style grant, which means we have to bear the full cost up front, submit for reimbursement, and then we'll get our check issued back from the state of Texas, essentially. The way that works is once the equipment arrives at our department, we will contact the Forest Service. They'll send a representative out to inspect our apparatus that we purchased and then file for it to be reimbursed to us. Usually the biggest holdup is the actual building of the apparatus and receiving it in our department. But once that unit arrives in our department, reimbursement shouldn't take much longer than that.
How long have y'all waited for this grant?
We started applying for this grant back in 2015. We have been applying for Forest Service grants since as early as 2008.
And this is the first one y'all get since then? Is there a possibility to get reimbursed sooner than that?
The reimbursement requirements is that the unit has to be sitting in our station We are working with our builder currently to negotiate that time frame. There are possibilities that this apparatus could be constructed in a shorter time frame. But again, this is all dependent amongst, supply chains, workforce, anything like that under that builder. The average across what we're seeing with all the apparatus builders is at least 12 to 14 months. They do say that is a little bit inflated. So there is an opportunity that we could see this apparatus arrive, at 9 months, but we can't guarantee it at this time.
So this would be a year from when?
And you'll have to sign that, what, was it April 9th or April?
The next couple of weeks.
Okay.
I think it's a good grant, Judge. I don't see any problem with it, other than in budget hearing, we're probably gonna have to work, to reimburse ourselves, like you're saying, with putting a little less money into the volunteer fire department. I don't know, we could do that like 50,000 a year or something like that.
Well, we could figure that out, during budget, but, I mean, I think it's a no-brainer. Y'all been working on this for a long time. It's gonna use up all the 200,000. I know, Cindy, you and I have been talking about it. Cindy's our Garcia, our auditor. It's gonna use up all that fund, but the what we're getting out of it, it's, I mean, you guys not only take care of Orange Grove, but you take care of all the surrounding area on mutual aid. I think the only issue we have, and I'll be upfront and transparent, the only issue is at the end of the year, if we don't get this before the end of our budget cycle, then we're taking it to the next one, like Mr. Garcia was explaining. But the return on investment is, it's, to me, it's worth it. That being said, does anybody else have anything you would like to add?
I commend you guys for doing this, because, anytime you can get a free truck, it's a no-brainer. Hopefully we can actually, fund in and see where we go from here. I think it's a good thing, and I make a motion to approve, Judge.
I'll second.
I just have one thing to say in regards to, and you probably will be in communication with the judge, but if we can just be added on, and as far as any updates as far as the reimbursement, because whenever it comes to budgeting and so forth, we can just be added on with any updates, timeframes, delays, and that way we kind of know what we're working with as far as the financial reimbursement.
And in this situation, the money's already budgeted in this year's, and well, every year we budget that amount, so, and it makes it unique in that sense that we have it budgeted already. It's not, we're not asking to do something that's not in the budget already. So I have a motion, now a second. Do I have any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Thank you, guys.
Motion carries. Thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all. Y'all get out there, be safe. I know we're running long, and I'm trying to see, let's see. We have Brush Country Casa here too. I know you probably need to be somewhere too. Okay, let's get you done right now. Discuss, consider, and take action on a proclamation submitted by Brush Country Casa making April 2026 Child Abuse Month. Prevention Month. That is number 6.1. Go ahead.
Can I didn't bring a copy of the proclamation, but I have it on my phone, so I could read it.
Okay. There should be a copy in the judge's packet, but if you have it and can read it.
I have it right here.
It's up to you. You can read it or I can read it. I know it's a little long.
Is it this one? Let's see. Yes. This one right here. Did you need it? Or?
my name is Jaylene Garza, and I am the outreach coordinator for Brush Country CASA. April is Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month, and I was just wanting to have the reading of the proclamation. So proclamation, Office of Honorable Pedro P. Trevino Jr., whereas children thrive in safe, stable, and nurturing families within their own Texas communities. And whereas while it is critical to have a system that supports families in crisis, intentionally supporting families before they reach a crisis is essential to preventing the abuse and maltreatment of Texas children. And whereas by partnering with families and building on their strengths, we can create strong, healthy homes and resilient communities where children can thrive. And whereas child maltreatment remains a significant public health issue in Texas, in 2005, Texas had a child population of 7,927,718, with 170,282 alleged victims of abuse or neglect. 51,985 were confirmed cases, and 10,011 children were removed from their homes due to safety concerns. And whereas in Jim Wells County, there were 520 alleged child victims, 99 cases confirmed, demonstrating the need for strong community prevention efforts. Whereas communities lacking accessible resources and support systems face higher risk of child abuse and neglect, making prevention efforts even more critical. And whereas every April we recognize the vital work being done across Texas to support families before they reach a crisis. Child abuse prevention happens every day, and thanks to the dedication of families, friends, neighbors, faith-based organizations, advocacy groups, nonprofits, schools, healthcare providers, social workers, and government agencies working together to keep children safe. And whereas child abuse prevention is not the responsibility of just one agency, community, or system alone. Behind every family that overcomes hardship is a strong, supportive community helping them become stable, self-sufficient, and successful. And whereas all Texans must work together to strengthen our communities by ensuring families have access to the support they need to thrive. Whereas I encourage every resident of Jim Wells County to learn more about the efforts being made to build safer, healthier environments for our children, the future leaders of our community, state, and nation. Therefore, this says, I, Pedro P. Trevino Jr., County Judge for Jim Wells County, do hereby proclaim April 2026 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Jim Wells County and encourage all residents to join me in renewing our commitment to preventing child abuse and increasing our participation in supporting families.
Thank you so much, and I know myself, and and I can speak for the court, if they can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's prevalent here in Jim Wells County, not only in Jim Wells, but throughout the region, throughout the state of Texas, and the United States, as a matter of fact of that matter, and we support you guys 110%.
Thank you.
Motion to approve item is presented, Judge.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Let's go ahead and take a picture. Sheriff, Judge,
My side right is.
Mary.
Easy.
Oh, everybody for the fact of that matter, we're on the road.
There's some president on meeting. Maria, you're in the way, Maria. Get there. Hold on, Diana, we're waiting for Maria.
Yeah, stand up in a chair.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't see Mary.
Mary should have been down here.
Yeah, I can see her right here. Yes.
Scoot closer to which one?
No, then
I
you
can't
have
see
my
which
check. Right here, come right here. Yeah, no, you're good right there. On this side right here, you're good. You can scoot over this way.
Thank you.
Se me pongo atrás de este hombre, ¿no?
Yo sí,
Que me quedes con.
no se lo quito.
Thank you all. Y'all have a good rest of your day too.
Judge, you here for ESD one? We're gonna go to 7.1. Discuss, consider, and take action to reappoint Commissioner Diana Hernandez, Secretary, for a new term running from January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2027, to the Board of Commissioners, Jim Wells County Emergency Services, District Number 1. Speak on that, Judge.
Morning, County Judge, Commissioners, County officials, Judge Matthew Schmidt, JP3, Sandia. Yeah, we were just requesting the reappointment of Commissioner Diana Hernandez to the board. She's a valuable asset. She holds the position of secretary, so we just asked to continue for her to stay on board.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you all. Appreciate
Motion
it.
carries. Thank you, Judge. Agenda item number. The number 4, previous minutes.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Okay, hold on. 4.1, discuss, consider, and take action to approve minutes from previous meeting. No.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion
A second.
and a second. Any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 5 is consent agenda. 5.1, consent agenda. Items will be voted upon with one vote and not be discussed separately unless requested by the county judge, commissioner, or a citizen.
Judge Commissioners, I've reviewed the budget amendments. They are allowable adjustments with your approval.
Motion to approve, item 5.1 is presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I got all of them on page 1, correct? Okay, all right. Agenda item number 8, tax sale property. 8.1, discuss, consider, and take action on an offer made by Roman Gonzalez in the sum of $6,500 for account number 1206333100000. Certain tract of land situated in the La Vaca Grant, Jim Wells County, Texas, being Lot 8, McMaster subdivision, described as 1 acre, described in deed dated November 28th, 1945, from W.K. McMaster to Juan M. Ortiz. Let me make sure. In volume 93, page 491, deed record, Jim Wells County, Texas, save and accept, however, 50 feet by 100 feet containing 0.1148 acre, more or less described in volume 162, page 49, deed records of Jim Wells County, Texas, leaving a residual of 0.8852 acre, more or less. Okay, let me get this quick. Amount of bid is $6,500. The cost of sale is $1,858. Current value $33,001. Jim Wells County will receive $1,698.63. Alice ISD $2875.58. And Brush Country Groundwater Conservation $67.79. Are there any questions?
This is I know this comes up quite a bit. And we've had it before where we cancel them and to see if we can get more money for it and it doesn't work out. So it's just, You know, so you look at the taxes that are owed on it, and, what was it, sir, about Judge? The value is 33,000,
The value is 33,000.
yeah. But they've been on there for some time.
The date of judgment is June 21, 2023.
If nobody has any questions, I'll make a motion to approve.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. He's got. Let's wait for Mr. Garcia.
I guess what I was trying to get to also, Judge, was is that a lot of these properties have been there for so long, they've been, we're not getting anything out of it, and they owe so much. So basically, the best thing to do is give whatever you can for it, and hopefully it'll go back to the tax roll, and we collect on it, because we've seen it a lot of times. They even go to auction, they won't sell, so.
Yeah, we can. Mr. Getter, I can approve it, right, with Mr. Garcia taking a break? We can approve it, we have three? Or since he's,
Yeah, you've got a quorum there. You can just make sure that the minutes reflect that he was absent and did not vote on this agenda item.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 9, County Judge Pedro P. Trevino Jr. 9.1, discuss and consider and take action on a resolution recognizing April as Autism Awareness Month.
Good morning. My name is Meralda Solano, and I am your Jim Wells County Assistant Treasurer. It is with great honor to read a resolution recognizing April 2026 as Autism Awareness Month. Whereas autism spectrum disorder, ASD, is a developmental condition that affects communication, social interaction, and behavior, and impacts millions of individuals and families across the United States and throughout our communities. And whereas increased awareness and understanding of autism promotes early diagnosis, improved access to services, and greater opportunities for individuals with autism to live fulfilling and productive lives. And whereas individuals with autism bring unique talents, perspectives, and strengths that enrich our schools, workplaces, and communities. And whereas families, educators, healthcare professionals, advocates, and community organizations play a vital role in supporting individuals with autism and promoting acceptance, inclusion, and respect. And whereas Autism Awareness Month provides an opportunity to promote public understanding, encourage acceptance, and highlights the importance of inclusive policies and practices that support individuals with autism and their families. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Jim Wells County hereby recognizes April 2026 as Autism Awareness Month and encourages residents, businesses, schools, and community organizations to increase awareness, support inclusion, and celebrate the contributions of individuals on the autism spectrum. Be it further resolved that the Jim Wells County calls upon the community to promote acceptance, understanding, and opportunities that allow individuals with autism to reach their full potential.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
I know that we 100% support all type of inclusion, and we support you guys 110%.
Just wanna add, I know where you're coming from. I have two grandkids that are autistic, and every little accomplishment they make is just the best thing in the world.
They're great.
And I know you have an event coming up, so I invite everybody to, if you can participate or help out.
Yes,
Please,
we have our 9th annual Ben and Friends Autism Relay that is being conducted April 4th. And there is also a celebration of Autism Barbecue that will be going on at the end of April. So we ask the support of the
they like to say
community.
it's not a special ability, it's a different ability.
Yes, sir. And it's on the rise. In 2026, 1 in 36 children are diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. And that figure has surged by 317% since the year 2000. So globally, autism affects an estimated 61.8 million people, or it's 1 in 127 individuals globally. But in the US, it's 1 in 36. So it's surging, it's on the rise, and where early intervention is definitely the key. So, yeah, it's a great thing, though.
Yes, it is.
It is.
Can I entertain a motion?
I'll make a
Go
motion.
ahead, hold on.
Motion to approve item, Mr. President, Judge.
Second?
Second.
I didn't mean to cut y'all. Go ahead.
No, that was it.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll take a picture
Thank you.
also. A lot of pictures today.
The main one, though, yeah. She got the main one.
Resolution. Agenda item 9.2, discuss, consider, and take action to approve a resolution from Jim Wells County to recognize March 21st as Down Syndrome Awareness Month. Resolution recognizing March 21st, 2026 as Down Syndrome Awareness Month, whereas Down syndrome is a naturally occurring genetic condition that is part of a human diversity, and whereas individuals with Down syndrome enrich our communities through their talents, perspectives, and contributions, and whereas all people deserve equal access to education, healthcare, employment, and opportunities for meaningful inclusion, whereas Down Syndrome Day raises awareness and promotes the dignity, rights, and well-being of people with Down syndrome worldwide. Now therefore, be it resolved that we recognize this day as an opportunity to celebrate individuals with Down syndrome, to promote inclusion, acceptance, and to stand together in support of their rights for full participation in our community. Be it further resolved that we commit to fostering culture of respect, understanding, and opportunity for all, especially my granddaughter, Yurianaya Trevino. She is a hoot. We love her to death, and I know that it's not only my Yuri, it's several people around our community and the state of Texas and the United States for the fact of that matter. And I support, and I'm pretty sure my commissioners here, I don't need to speak for them, but I'm pretty sure they support them 110%. There are smart individuals that deserves every opportunity that anybody else does in this world.
Motion to approve.
That being said, I have a motion.
Second.
A second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. One more picture because they deserve a picture and recognition. For sure.
¿Estás acá arriba?
We've already done 9.3, 9.4, grants. Number 10, 10.1, discuss, consider, and take action on recommendation letter from ICE Engineering and award construction contract for the CDBG MIT contract number 22085-027 D268 for drainage improvements in Rancho Alegre.
Good morning, Court. My name is Carlos Montalvo. I'm with International Consulting Engineers. We also have Ms. Lucy Cook-Hildreth on the line with GrantWorks regarding this project. Let's see, I believe you all have our letter of recommendation for this project. This was a GLO project for the Rancho Alegre area. We did have 7 bidders bid for this project. We had basically we had 7 bids. Blue Dot Site and Utilities was at around 3.9 million. Then we had RXDX at 5.2 million or 5.28 million, and ADREC at 5.29 million. So those were the 3 lowest bidders. Bidders 4 and 5 were very close also at 5.77 million and 5.78 million. We reviewed these bids, we contacted some references, and based on our review, although, Blue Dot had a low bid of 3.9 million, in our professional opinion, we felt that number was too low. Our estimate for this project was around 5.5, 5.6 million. And we did not feel that the project could be done with that amount of money. So our recommendation was to go to the next lowest bidder of RXDX in the amount of $5,282,995. And of course, this is our recommendation based on our review.
What's the name of the company?
The second low bidder was RXDX LLC.
RX.
Yes, sir. They're just the letters RXDX.
Where are they from?
I believe they're out of Sinton.
Have you done work with these guys before?
We have been, some of their projects, we have been other grant projects, so they have done some other grant projects for other counties and cities. That they've done some, I believe, for Nueces County, Clayburgh, and City of Kingsville. They have done similar projects.
That's your recommendation for?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we're recommending them, even though they weren't the lowest bidder. We feel it's the best value for the county based on the size and type of project.
The lady from Granite Works, there's no issue with that.
Lucy, I don't know if you can hear their question was, is there any issue with going with the second lowest bidder? And I know you've have been talking with GLO as well.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. Oh, just for the record, Lucy Cook Hildreth with Grant Works. And no, there is not a concern as far as going with the second low bidder. I have had some conversation prior to this with the county, just stating that we need to document that there has been, they call it an investigation, but basically that the county has done their due diligence as far as looking into the lowest bidder and has come to the conclusion that they're not going to be responsible enough to handle the project. So what that means in this case, and we've discussed this before, but essentially the low bid that came in for Blue Dot, as Carlos mentioned, is a bit lower than what our engineering firm feels is reasonable for being able to get this project done. And so that was a red flag. That was a concern. And beyond that, we have done some other due diligence as far as trying to look into the background of Blue Dot. But you guys are, as the county, you do have the final say. As far as GLO is concerned, GLO is going to want to make sure that some sort of investigation was done and that it has been documented. So by documented, we need to have a conversation, and we are right now here in open court discussing, the qualifications of these bidders and make a decision based on, the information that you have at hand. The county's procurement policies are ultimately what needs to be followed. So as long as those are being followed, that is a big primary concern for GLO. So as long as you guys are following your procurement policies in this, that is fine. GLO just wants to see proof that there has been a discussion about these qualifications. So that's what we're doing now. And I do see that the county's attorney is online, and you might want to weigh in and just make sure that that you're okay with that as well.
I can weigh in right now. We've had 2 or 3 different meetings, and I think from the meeting we had when we opened the bids, it was kind of concerning because the number is significantly lower than the cluster of bids that we have right now, and that raised a red flag right off the bat, because I think in our conversations we've had, we've noted that we don't think that this job can be performed adequately at that amount of bid. And the information that we've got from our engineering firm, who we contracted to as professionals to review these bids, and with the letter that they have, I think it's significantly enough for us to make a decision not to go with the lowest bid. And anybody wants to add?
No, sir.
To that, we can.
With that being said, Judge, 10.1, I make a motion to approve with the recommendation from ICE that we go with the second lowest bidder.
Second that motion.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Mr. Guerra, anything?
No, this is, I hadn't heard of this, so I'm a bit caught by surprise. Just make sure you document what investigation was done. Did the low bidder submit a bid that was broken down by various line items? And I guess what percentage was it lower than the anticipated bid? Did anybody call them to find out why they think they can do it at this lower price? And if they did do an itemized bid, where was the savings? Where did they think that they could do the job for less? Was it a transportation issue? Was it a labor? What was it?
Yes, sir. We do have a itemized, broken down bid tab. Their low numbers were a lot on the demolition and removal. Excavating for the pond, excavating for the ditch were much lower than the other bidders. We did contact they put references and reference projects along with their bid. All the contractors did. And so we contacted those references to kind of see how those jobs were. And those were also much smaller jobs than this job in particular. So yes, sir, we did do that. And we did contact that for the three low bidders.
Okay, that's the kind of information that I think we need to include. Was that report reduced to writing somewhere, or maybe an email that we could include with the file in case this is questioned in the future? We have backup to demonstrate why we didn't take the low bid.
Yes, sir. We'll get that to you.
Okay, and if you could just provide that to the auditor's office and to our grant administrator, please.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All righty, thank you, Mr. Guerra. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Carlos.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate you, man.
Y'all have a great day.
Yes, sir, you
Thank you,
too.
Carlos.
Agenda item number 11, Commissioner Precinct 1, George Aguilar. 11.1, discuss, consider, and take action on providing a 30-day notice to cancel MOU with Sunrise Transport LLC.
Commissioners, Judge, as you all know, transport fees have risen dramatically. Here I have a report from 2025 to show to the public that last year in total, transportation fees were only $17,051.40. And of that money, $6,300 were for hospital guard fees. Now you fast forward to 2026, and we're March 27th, and we incurred $74,000 in transport fees. So that only tells us one thing. Prior year, they were capable of transporting inmates. Why not this year? It's not logical to me, and the taxpayers and the public need to know of these fees that the county's incurring. And up to date, this last batch of bills that we have $5,758 in hospital guard fees. That's in conjunction with the transport fees and so on. These fees will only increase, and it's going to be a burden on taxpayers. A lot of people don't know what happens on a daily basis with the Sheriff Department. I understand that. But here we have the documents that show how much is charged per transport and how much is charged for hospital guard fees. So if you actually take into consideration, that's over $1,000 a day in the last 2 weeks. It can be quite more than that. So I just wanted to put that out to the public so they can know and they're informed. And that's why I put that item on the agenda.
Thank you. I do have an official letter from our 79th Judicial District Judge, Michael V. Garcia, and it's a recommendation to table this item. The letter reflects Judge Pete Trevino. I respectfully ask the agenda item number 11.1 be tabled and placed on the agenda for future Commissioners Court meetings. The reason for this request is that I would like to be present at the meeting to provide clarity and insight as to what steps my office, along with Judge Solis's office, Judge Trevino's office, the District Attorney's office, the County Attorney's office, and the Probation Department are taking to assist in this matter. I'm currently presiding over a jury trial in Brooks County that will continue through the end of the week, next week also. Thank you for the advanced consideration. Michael V. Garcia, District Judge. I know that they've been working very diligently, each one of the departments, and I think within, Mr. Guerra, can you help me out with the numbers? But I'm pretty sure we went from 137 inmates to 100 inmates currently. Can you
Actually, last night, briefly, we were under 100 for the first time since February of last year. The last time before that was back in 2024. So we've been consistently over 100 and hitting in the high 140s a couple of times. But as Judge Garcia pointed out in that letter, as this issue has become more and more pressing in the last couple of months, we've looked at every strategy we can think of to try to. The problem isn't the problem is the bill, the cost of the bills, but those companies aren't providing an unnecessary service. The service is necessary. The root cause of the problem is the overcrowding and the fact that we cannot use our jail to maximum capacity that it's rated for. And we're having to keep an artificial cap on that, which means that every prisoner, every inmate above that has to be housed somewhere else, and they have to be transported somewhere else. You got two choices. You can do that in-house, or you can contract that out. If you do it in-house, that takes deputies off the street. That increases response times to emergencies in our own county. So it's a pick your poison. Do you want to pay somebody else to do it, or do you want to have diminished service in your own county? We have a lot of things in motion right now where we think we can get that number down to maybe 80. If we let this play out, maybe another 30 days. We're waiting on various orders to be processed by the prosecution's office and the judges. Probation is being proactive in trying to reinstate some of the people that have been filed on for revocation, but with a progressive sanction so that there is some consequence for whatever they're in jail for. The courts, of course, have been scheduling more court sessions. We're doing everything we can to attack the root cause of the problem, which is the overcrowding. And we're doing that, as I said, through every possible means. We're meeting weekly. Our committee, which has representatives from all those stakeholders that you just mentioned, we're having, in our case, in County Court at Law, every other Monday is dedicated to criminal dockets with a focus on taking care of the inmate cases first. And I know the district court is doing the same. I don't know their exact schedule, but they are having more court sessions. So at this point, I tend to agree with Judge Garcia. Let's give it another month. Let's see if we can get that number down to 80 with the transport services. There may be some issues, like the Commissioner says, about using them for hospital security, for transporting items like medications without having any actual prisoners in the vehicle. I know that was an issue early on. I don't know if it's still going on. We can address those things without necessarily having to void the contract, because the contract is serving us right now, because as these orders get processed and inmates are scheduled for release, we need someone to go pick them up and bring them back, because they can't be released from Maverick County. They have to be brought back to Jim Wells and do their paperwork here before they can be processed for release. So I don't think it's a major inconvenience. We're asking for maybe another 30 days, and then we can revisit this. If you have specific issues with some of the bills, like Commissioner said about hospital security, let's look at possibly dealing with that specifically and not voiding the whole MOU.
Thank you, Mr. Guerra.
Thank you, Michael.
Yes, sir.
And I myself, 100%, I understand what you're saying, Mr. Aguilar. And I do want a commitment, Sheriff, that in all situations be looked at individually. And when we're talking about hospital stays or whichever thing like that, that can rise the costs, that if we can independently do that ourselves.
Judge and court, just like I gave a breakdown earlier when we had first discussed this, we do, the idea that we contract every transport, I've shown that that's not the case. We do a lot of these transports when we have the capability. I think it was almost about half at that time. If we have the people to do the transport, we do them. We don't just automatically call the transport service. And I gave you spreadsheets. I gave you documentation of that. So we'll continue to do that. Absolutely. I'm I realize that these costs are expensive, but I have a duty to the community, and I have a duty to make sure that we are adequately staffed at the jail. Not only a duty, I have by law, I'm required to do that, as the whole county is required to do that. So I just don't want to get ourselves in trouble in that way. But we do those transports when we have the people to do them.
All right. All I ask is you take a very close attention. I know you guys are. I'm not saying you guys are not, but we appreciate you and your staff. Just take closer look when we know that something might trigger a longer stay or whatever it may be. That let's see if we can independently do that ourselves.
And I guess that's one of the things that we're looking at. Everybody else is doing their part, and we asked all the department heads to keep an eye on their budget, stuff like this. So I guess that's what we're asking is keep a better eye on the expense of this, because I don't think we made a contract with them to deliver medication or prison or hospital guards, stuff like that.
And we can, that was one time that happened, and we can keep repeating that over and over again. I obviously didn't approve that. I don't want to use a transport service to deliver medication. That happened one time in an emergency situation where we had to get the medication over there, or they would have sent them to the hospital, which will cost you more money. But at that happened one time. There are times where mistakes, will happen. But if, for example, if someone comes into our jail, they cannot, if they don't have their medication sent to us from we don't do that, so because we don't house other people. But if we take an inmate to Maverick County, coming from jail to jail, their medication can be transported. If they don't have that medication, they have to send them to the hospital. Then they have to see another doctor who has to then prescribe that medication. That would have been more expensive than transport. That happened one time. That's not a common practice that we do. We can continue to repeat it, but obviously it's not a common practice.
All righty.
And just to say that we've been working with the courts as the county attorney, Mr. Getter, has said for months now. We're making a lot of progress. In fact, our population is down nearly 40%. We are there on those weekly meetings with everyone else. We're all working together, and I want to keep. And I think that if we continue to work together, as I said the last time, we can solve this problem. I can't solve it by myself because I'm not the only one. Even though it appears as though I'm the causing this problem. This is a whole county problem, not just mine, and we are working together to solve it.
I think that's the main thing is, as Judge Garcia stated in his letter, every agency right now or every department right now is working diligently on this problem.
And I do appreciate that.
Yeah, and I appreciate it too, and I appreciate it that it continues. And all we ask is, pay close attention, and that's it. You're already doing it, but let's make sure that everybody's doing their part and we can move forward.
Sure, I got a question for you. Is it is it not true that on the video yesterday, you said if the contract was canceled, you would still use Sunrise Transport?
That's absolutely true. So I was using Sunrise Transport prior to bringing the contract here. The fact is, George, I'm sorry, Commissioner Aguilar, is I don't have an option by law to not take someone to the hospital, to take the MHMR people, to transport the juveniles, to transport to court, to ignore court orders from the judges to bring people. By law, this, not only me, but you and everybody in this county, we have to do those things. So by law, I have to have so many people at the jail. By law, I need to be able to answer 911 calls. And what you're asking me to do is similar to defund the police. You're asking me to pull people off the road so they don't answer, they cannot answer 911 calls and calls for service. And ironically, the people in your district would be most affected by that. The people in Tecolote, the people in Rancho Alegre, those people would be most affected because that's where a lot of our calls for service are at. Maybe, you ought to think about that.
The other thing I had was, so last year from January to September, almost to the end of September, it was feasible for you to do all those operations. Latter part of last year, it just didn't become too feasible.
If you're talking about the OLS operations?
No. I'm talking about the transporting. Transporting last year, you didn't incur too many expenses because you were doing it yourselves and you were understaffed. Now you have more staff, and I'm just asking questions,
Okay. Send me, put that on the agenda and I'll answer that at a later date so that I have time to look at the numbers and see.
Can I say something?
Yes, sir.
As we work through this problem, which is, look like we're making headways.
Yes, sir.
It's gonna decrease, it's gonna satisfy Commissioner's situation on transport. It's gonna, the inmates going, it's gonna, I think we're doing a great thing by working together, and I think we're making progress.
Making great
And it's gonna affect every aspect of our spending, whether it's transportation, sending prisoners everywhere else. I think we're making progress, and we're addressing the problem, and I think it's getting better according to our county attorney. So I think another month we'll see better results, hopefully, and I make a motion to table.
How do you feel, Sheriff, about waiting another month?
I think that we need to do that, as the Commissioner said, as our county attorney has said, as the letter from our district Judge Garcia. We are making great progress. We have reduced a lot of these costs for the root cause down to the numbers down to 40%. That is directly going to impact the transport costs also. So we are making great progress. We're working together. So I think put it aside another 30 days, and you're going to see, that there's going to be a bottom to it, right? But we're getting to there. But set it aside for another 30 days, I think we'll make even better progress.
And I want to make it clear to everyone, do I necessarily agree with it? No. But I don't know what's behind door number 2. And if we get rid of this contract today, we'll find out what's in door number 2. And that could increase because right now we have increase our rates, because right now we're on the contract, we're under a certain amount of rates. Now, if we cancel this contract and we have to pay other type of rates that are not under contracted, those rates are going to be higher.
They potentially could be higher, yes. I can't hold them to the rates.
Yeah, we can't hold them to any contract or hold them to any type of rates. So what's behind door number 2 could be a lot more expensive for us. And like I said, do I agree with it? No, but I don't know what's behind door number 2. And we're all working on it. I think we're making a huge difference. And I think with other things that are going on, if they happen, it's gonna cut it tremendously, and it might even allow for what Mr. Aguilar wants, for us to do our own transfer.
There is other things in play that I don't have it nailed down yet, but that I'm working on that's definitely going to change this dynamic. And I think I'll have that within 30 days. But I can't say that yet, but I think we will.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Can I say something real quick?
Yes, sir.
I just want to state that I understand that you're working on it to minimize expenditure, which is a good thing to do. But I want to make note of that, if this doesn't come under control, I mean, you're going to have to respond to the taxpayers ultimately, because they're the ones that pay those taxes into the county for us to operate as a whole. So I just want to say, hopefully everything works out. And we'll see you in 30 days.
I have a motion, and I second that. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Good luck, Judge, Sheriff.
Motion,
Thank you.
motion carries.
Working hard.
Okay, sir, I appreciate it. Appreciate the help.
Okay, agenda item number 12, Sheriff, 12.1, discuss, consider, and take action on a resolution allowing Jim Wells County Sheriff's Office to accept and operate under the FY 27 Operation Lone Star number 4379605, as the grant application has been amended for equipment purchases.
Commissioners and Judge, so we amended this grant to increase the amount and ask for different equipment that the sheriff's office will need, such as vehicles and other things. We also added some overtime expense to prepare for any possible overtime we can that we'll be needing. So it's just an amendment and requesting additional funds.
Okay, is that the 283,000?
There's no set amount. Basically, the way this grant works is that you apply for, as needed, whatever the sheriff department wants to justify and ask for. And then once the department reviews it, then they will award a set amount. And then at that point, it would come back to court for y'all to approve the actual set amount that they approved.
I'll make a motion, we approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 12.2, discuss, consider, and take action on entering a correctional communication service agreement with City Telecoin Company, Inc.
Judge, Commissioners, this is a dual, which we'll talk about the other part. There's two contracts to this. We'll talk about that one after this one. This is basically the company that we use for our commissary. We are under contract with them now, but we've worked out an agreement with them. They're willing to grant us some money to upgrade part of the jail, which will take that off the taxpayers' burden. That's a little bit over $12,000. We also have negotiated where our law library access won't charge us for that. It will be comp to us. And I believe Michael had a chance, County Attorney Michael has had a chance to review this contract. We have worked with this company for years. We like this company. They've been good to us. So we don't really have any plans on switching, but we would like to bring this up and go ahead and go into a longer contract, because they've given us some incentives to do so, and I don't see any reason why we wouldn't take advantage of that.
We don't have to go out for bids or anything. It's already a company. It's you're already using, right?
Yes, no, we don't have
So
to.
it wouldn't require that? I wouldn't think so, no.
I know Mr. Getter, I think he had a couple of questions.
Yeah, I emailed with the sheriff. The contract, it was more questions about the terms, but he responded to me already. And to Commissioner Gonzalez says, no, this is not, because this is not a service. They're actually, it's kind of a partnership because we're both in it together. We get paid percentages depending on what service is provided. So this is a revenue contract. This is one where we make money, we're not spending money. So for that reason, it's not subject to procurement. I did have a concern about the length, but it is the length that's been on this. We've been with CTC. They used to be called Teletalk before they were CTC more than 20 years ago. And so if I'm not mistaken, I think this is the same company we've used since the late 90s to provide these services.
Okay, I'll make a motion to accept item number 12.2, Judge, as presented.
I have a motion. I'll second. I have a motion and second. Any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Twelve point four, discuss, consider, and take action on entering into a commissary service agreement with CTC Commissary LLC, an independent contractor.
Quarters, like I mentioned before, this is the same company, but we have two separate contracts because they're providing two separate services. Again, we've had a long-standing relationship with them, but because it's two separate contracts, we had put it on the agenda as two separate contracts. But the same thing applies here.
Motion to approve item number 12.4.
I have a motion. I'll second. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Judge.
Yes.
Yeah, I was muted. I couldn't before you all voted there, and it's nothing substantive. It's just that there's a typo on the first page of that contract. It should be in the second paragraph, I believe, and it makes reference, rather than Jim Wells, it says Hot Springs. So that just needs to be changed.
So I think that the
Was that an early version?
I noticed that I had them change that. Maybe the one I sent you had the wrong one.
Okay, maybe it's already been corrected then on the version.
It has it.
It's
Yeah,
corrected?
I circled it, so
Oh, it hasn't been corrected?
it hadn't been corrected.
Okay, I have the corrected version. I noticed that as myself, so I'll send that over.
That was the only issue. Thank you.
Okay, let me do this. Twelve point five, discuss, consider, and take action to approve a payment of outstanding 2024-2025 invoices for Maverick County for inmate housing and designating the source of payment. So, we've tried to make contact with Maverick County and had too much luck with that. But, you know, I'm pretty sure with negotiations that we're gonna have to pay portion or all of it. So right now, what I'm bringing to the court is that we take care of or pay October 2024, December 2024, and then from January 2025, May 2025, and June 2025. So that'll take care of all of 24 plus half of 26, and that's $286,000 and $650.
And then what's gonna happen after that?
So we're gonna still continue to do what we do, what we said earlier in the agenda item, and then we're going to continue to make efforts to make contact with Maverick County. That being said, with this payment, it'll allow us, to let them know that we're willing to pay it. We just want a timeframe on how we can do this and a payment plan.
Cindy, did I
per
see in
se.
the payables, 133,000 to Maverick County?
Yes, that one is the January 2026 invoice that we
Is
received.
that current or what?
That is a current one.
Okay.
That's for this year's budget, so
I
that one
did
is.
notice
a-
that in the payables, you know,
That is in the
how would,
payables.
this is gonna be an additional
Yes.
200, okay.
Good point. We're still paying our monthly for 2026. This is for the months that hadn't been paid. So, and we're confident that we're gonna have to pay this amount by the end of the year anyway.
I make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 13, Constable Precinct 1, Albert Martinez. 13.1, discuss, consider, and take action to approve a resolution authorizing the submission of a Operation Lone Star Grant, OLS, through the Office of the Governor's Public Safety Office, and designating the county judge and authorizing official signatory and the county treasurer as the financial officer for the grant.
Morning,
Morning.
Judge, Commissioners.
Morning, sir.
Need permission to submit this resolution and grant. Now, I feel that I owe an explanation. It was on the agenda the last time around, and the agenda, Commissioners Court meeting was on the 13th, and the deadline was at 12. So I have applied to previous grants, and I had received legal opinion on it. And in order not to miss out on applying for the grant on the deadline, applying for the grant was on the 12th, meeting was on 13th. I went ahead and moved forward with it, but always knowing that applying for it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to accept it if it was even awarded. So, you know, I had all those things in mind, and I did have legal's opinion on it, so I will move forward on it. So I'm here before the court asking for permission to continue to move forward. And I did get to visit with the finance department and the county judge prior to submitting this application, even though it was before the meeting. So I didn't just do it on my own without consulting with other team members within our county. And that's where I stand.
We're trying to get some equipment, I understand?
Well, on this Operation Lone Star, it's for patrol hours, because I do have a staff of reserves, and they are allowed to be paid under this grant. And there are full-time, non-paid, bonded, certified reserve officers that help me Tuesday through Fridays already, as it is. This would just be pay for that, and also equipment, vehicle equipment after 2 years of the grant's commitment. It would be turned over to the county.
Is
Of
this
course,
something like the sheriff's department has?
yes, it would be for highway interdiction,
I
which
make
is.
a motion to approve.
Thank you.
I have a motion.
Second.
And a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Albert.
Constable.
County Auditor's Report. 14.1, discuss, consider, and take action on auditor's monthly reports.
Yes, Judge and Commissioners, I can start off with the sales tax report, and this will be for February of 2026. So for the month of February, General Fund and Road and Bridge received a total of $595,106. That's kind of just the totals, and then you see kind of comparisons from this February month to compared to January. We did have a great increase versus last month, so that's, that was nice to see. If you look over to the right, you will see the comparison from 25 to 26. We're pretty much in line, so we don't show a significant increase in sales tax. For Jim Wells County, City of Alice is up a little, City of Orange Grove and Fremont compared to last year are a little under, compared to last year. So you'll kind of see that trend. So in total, we really are just pretty much the same as last year. But that does reflect on our budget. We did conservatively estimate about the same last year. So that's what our sales tax looks like. If you go on to the auditor's report, of course, on the first page is all total revenues, including our ad valorem tax and sales tax and all other revenues collected. General fund is at a collection percentage of 41%. Road and bridge is at a collection of 38% total. When you combine the other funds, we're at a total of 40% collection. A little concerning because last year at this time, we were about 60% collection in revenues. So it's something definitely that keeping an eye out on. And it is actually, the bulk of it obviously is our ad valorem tax. So I will be keeping an eye on that, possibly having discussions maybe with our appraisal district. Not sure, the decrease on that. So if you flip over to the expenditure side, it will itemize all general fund departments. At this time in February, we should be at a 16.6% expenditure to stay on budget. You will see all the departments and where they stand for February. There's some a little over. Most of the time when you see them over, I've addressed
16, what's the number?
16.6%, yeah, rounded up to 17. So total general fund, our expenditures are at 19%.
And this is normal probably until June?
Until March, it'll level out. It'll level out the first quarter only because of that January 3rd payroll. So by the end of the first quarter in March, it should level out. On our expenditures for road and bridge, we're at 15% expenditures. When you total out all departments, we're at 18%. So overall, we're at a negative 1.7% variance. So a little over at this time for February.
What was not to go over percent?
16.6.
17.
Does anybody have any questions? Can I entertain a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 15, discuss, consider, and take, county treasurer's report and other monthly reports.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion.
Second.
Okay, hold up. Let me back up just a little bit. I get a little confused with the 15 and the 15.1. So 15.1, discuss, consider, and take action to approve county treasurer report and other monthly reports. Now can I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Payroll and bills, number 16.1, discuss, consider, and take action on payroll and bills as submitted by the county auditor with the exemption of Fund 52, 53, and 54. Make a motion, we approve.
I got a question. Cindy, you said the 133,000, that was for what month, the inmate?
January of 2026?
Okay. It's- No, okay, I was thinking January of 2025.
No, this year.
Okay, all right. Pretty high.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Anybody would like to address the court at this time? If not, can I entertain a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you guys very much. I know it was a long one. I went straight through.